make that nine series wins in a row. The Seattle Mariners have not done that since 2001 when they won 15 straight series, and as we all know, had the record for most wins in a regular season, 116 wins that year. Now, I'm not saying the Mariners are going to repeat that feat, but anytime you are in the same conversation as that 2001 legendary team, it's a good sign. What a series. Win 2 out of 3 in Sacramento, still first place in the West, ahead by 3 games. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. Today was a game where, I lost hope a little bit. I won't even lie to you, but I had this feeling throughout, even when they got down 5-0. I was like, I just have a feeling they're gonna come back and win this game, and sure enough, they did. And I could not have been happier. Um, this is not a bad athletics team. I think they might not be there yet as far as their competitive window, but they're getting close. I think their rebuild has gone a little bit faster than anticipated, and I think this is going to be a good rivalry over the next few seasons. It looks like Houston is starting to fade. Texas has been pretty up and down the last few years, and the Angels, well, they spend a lot of time at Disneyland. They're not taking ball serious. This is not a bad team. I'll read off some of their numbers. They're 11th in the league in wins above replacement. They're 7th in WRC plus, so they have a good offense. And again, they play in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. They're 6th in average, and they're 27th in strikeout rate. So they're putting the ball in play, and they don't strike out, especially Jacob Wilson. That dude is insane. And they're 7th in the league in home runs. So they don't strike out, they put the ball in play, and they hit bombs. So, this is not a bad team. Kudos to that team. I feel terribly for those fans who had to lose their Oakland team because of a greedy ownership group that would not put money into a historical stadium in the Oakland Coliseum. If they weren't an AL West team, I'd be rooting for them all the way. I'll go through some of the numbers from the series. I'll do some, go over some highlights from the series, sort of my favorite moments, and a little preview for the Toronto series. So yeah, J.P. Crawford continues to stay hot. He was 4 for 13 on the series. Jorge Polanco came back down to earth, which we all expected. I'm not expecting him to have an OPS above 1,000. That's not sustainable. He's not going to hit 348 for the season. That's just not going to happen. So he was 2 for 13. He had a double today. He's getting on base still. He's drawing his walks. And you notice when he's hitting that, especially when he's in the left-handed batter's box, people, they don't want to give him anything on the inside edge. Like, everything is off the plate. They're scared of him right now, even if he is cooling down. So, yeah, Julio has turned it around. He's making up for Jorge, slowing down. 5 for 13 on the series. He also had a huge home run yesterday off Springs. Went like 450 feet or something. It was crushed. Cal was 2 for 8. Late game heroics in game 2. I just knew when he started on the bench, if it's a late game situation and Mitch Garver's up to bat, Cal Raleigh's going to pinch hit. Like, that's going to happen. And sure enough, it paid off. Double down the right field line, 2-run double to put the Mariners in the lead last night. That was great. Rowdy, 3 for 4. His offensive numbers have not been brilliant this year by any stretch of the imagination. His average has improved above 200, which is great. But he has a flair for the dramatic. Rowdy had a 3-run shot today that put the Mariners within 1 after they were down 5-1. So that was incredible. Leody Taveras made his Mariners debut, and he did not disappoint. Had some rough at-bats to start the game. But there in the 8th inning, he had a little seeing eye single. I mean, it was a smart piece of hitting. I'm not going to just say that he got lucky there by any means, but he hit it the other way, got past the third baseman, and scored the tying run. That was awesome to see. Really similar to Victor Robles last year. Picked him up. He was a highly touted prospect, has struggled in the big leagues to start his career. Maybe we can turn him around. At the very least, you're getting a plus defender with plus speed. Dylan Moore came back from the IL and went 3 for 4. He had the go-ahead double in the 8th inning today, and just continue to be impressed with Dylan. He's almost up to 300, his batting average this year. He, for years has been a utility guy, and his value came from his defense. Yeah, good to see Dylan hitting. Leo Rivas, he slowed down a little bit too. He didn't get a lot of playing time. He just had a walk and went 0 for 4. Mitch Garver also 0 for 4. Continues to draw his walks, but you got to see him hit for some power. I mean, his value comes from the fact that he's a catcher and he gets on base. So, better than Solano in that regard. Solano went 1 for 3 in this series. The only reason he got a hit was because he had an infield single that was just awkward and got past the pitcher. I'll say it again. Get him off the roster. I don't want to see Donovan Solano. Miles Mastrobuoni, another guy that was huge in this series. 3 for 8. He had a couple doubles yesterday. One was an RBI double that scored Williamson. Went the opposite way, which is great to see from a lefty, and his first career extra base hit off a left-handed pitcher, which is awesome. He's still going to be a platoon guy, and he's not going to see a lot of left-handed pitching. However, it's nice to know that he's not completely out of his element when he sees a lefty, so that's good. And Ryland Thomas 0 for 3. He got called back down to AAA, along with Samad Taylor when Rivas was added to the roster and Dylan Moore was reinstated from the IL. So, yeah, those are the overall numbers for the series. I want to mention how the Mariners stack up to the rest of the league. Still second in WRC+. Their average is creeping up from a league ranking standpoint. They're 13th in batting average. 17th in strikeout percentage, which is still, middle of the pack is all we ask for. I don't expect them to, be the best team in the league as far as strikeouts, but if they can stay in the middle of the pack, I am happy with that. 4th in home runs as well, and they're getting on base a ton. On base percentage. They are 2nd in on base percentage, and they are 1st in walk percentage. So if you get on base, you walk a ton, and you hit home runs, that is a great recipe for success. I'm going to talk about Game 1 a little bit. Some questionable decisions from Dan Wilson. I understand that sometimes you want to load the bases so that you have a force out at any base. I understand that. I think the inning started with a bunt that moved the runner to third base. So you're at 1 out. I understand walking Langoliers, right? If you got a guy on third with 1 out and you want to create a force out at second and first base, you want a chance to turn the double play. That makes sense. That makes so much sense, okay? But then to walk another batter intentionally so that you have the bases loaded with 1 out, facing one of the hottest hitters in the majors, Jacob Wilson, a rookie who's batting .341, makes a ton of contact, does not strike out, and hits the ball hard on the ground. So, okay, let's just say I'm okay with the decision to load the bases at that point. But why are you playing in on the grass when you can turn 2 anywhere? If the ball's hit to the third baseman, they can touch the base and throw to first to turn 2. If the ball's hit up the middle, they can turn a double play up the middle, But when you don't give yourself any room for error by being up on the grass, anything that's only a few feet off to your right or left as an infielder is going to get by you. And that was just really poor managing by Dan Wilson. He's new to this. I am going to give him grace. But that was a winnable game. I mean, after the series, I'm not as upset about it. Another thing in this game, Trent Thornton has been terrible this year. His ERA's crept under 6 after his outing here. But you let him go out for 2 innings. And this guy's fly ball to home run ratio is insane. I'm pretty sure like over half of the fly balls that Trent Thornton gives up end up being home runs. Maybe even worse than that. You're playing in a AAA ballpark with smaller dimensions in a climate that is hot where the ball is going to fly. I don't understand keeping Thornton in there. I know your options are limited because Bryce Miller could only give you 4 innings. He has looked terrible this season. He looks uncomfortable. It must be mental. Emerson Hancock continues to impress me. I was very hard on him to start the season, and I on my Instagram story I did not hold back. I am sorry, Emerson. I will never doubt you again. Cal Raleigh, he was heroic. He does not get an off day. Call him Cal Ripken Raleigh. He came in, pinch hit for Mitch Garver, which if Mitch Garver would have hit in that situation, he grounds out and the game's over. So that was great. Dylan Moore had a sacrifice fly to extend the lead to 5-3. Emerson Hancock, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs allowed, both earned, gave up a couple walks, only struck out 2. And he only threw 71 pitches. He really could have came out for the 7th. I think what that is it's a guy who struggled to start the season. He's been pitching really well ever since then, and so you really don't want to damage his confidence right now. I think you end on a strong note. So yeah, Matt Brash was not sharp in this outing, but it's his second outing since coming back from Tommy John. I'm going to give him as much time as he needs to become his old self, because I personally haven't experienced an elbow injury like that, so I'm not going to be too hard on him. Spire came in there and cleaned up. Colin Snyder had a good inning there, and Carlos Vargas has looked nasty. His velocity's up to like 98 at times. Crazy movement on that 2-seam, and I'm getting more and more comfortable with him in high leverage spots. And today, down 5-0, Brian Wu did not look sharp. Still managed to give you 6 innings, but he gave up 3 runs in the first. The Mariners are just such a gritty team. They fight. They come back. Come back from 5 down, win it 6-5. That was incredible. So, enough about this series. Upcoming, I mean, this is a real test in your schedule, right? The Blue Jays have been scuffling, so I'm not as worried about them. I am a little bit concerned about the fact that all those Canadians come down and that are Blue Jays fans, and it's like half the ballpark is Blue Jays fans, and that annoys the hell out of me. I'm a Portland Trailblazers fan, and it feels like every time the Lakers are here, it's like half the crowd is Lakers fans, and that just bugs me, because I'm like, what's the point of having like home court or home field advantage? Then they have the Yankees. That's the real test. The Yankees are obviously a good team, probably 3 times the payroll as the M's. They're the top team as far as WRC plus goes. They lead the league in wins above replacement. They're a good team. This will be a test. I think the Mariners have going for them is that it's at T-Mobile, pitcher-friendly ballpark. You don't have those like Mickey Mouse dimensions of New York, a Yankee Stadium. It'll be an interesting homestand. If they can split this homestand, I'd be happy. George Kirby made his first rehab start over the weekend, which is great. He should be back by the end of the month. Dipoto was saying Gilbert will be back by the end of the month, maybe. He's hopeful, he said. I doubt it. I think they're going to be extra cautious with him. It'll probably be like at least June before we see Logan Gilbert. But yeah, the injury bug is starting to turn around. Probably not going to see Luke Raley anytime soon. Probably not going to see Victor Robles anytime soon. But you picked up Tavares from the Rangers, and I feel like he's going to contribute. So yeah, I mean, I just feel great as an M's fan right now. Let's get 10 in a row. It'll be awesome. Thank you for watching. Great series against the Athletics. And if you know anyone who's a big Mariners fan, send it their way. Trying to find my audience right now. So yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your week. Peace.